Man, oh man, here we go again. And this week, we are back with some GMC rust repair action. Except this week is actually the week of Thanksgiving. Today's Monday, Thanksgiving's Thursday. Next Monday's video is gonna be the old fire chicken going out. So this will be it's gonna be quite a bit after Thanksgiving, but a little happy late Thanksgiving to y'all. That's the downside of being a head-on recording, is I can't ever remember when I'm supposed to say Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Veterans Day, stuff like that. I'm always just confused. So, last week, we did a will it run on that car. It was a lot of fun. If you have not seen that video, I would highly encourage you to go check it out. This week, like I said, Thanksgiving, I would like to have the main channel wrapped up by Thursday. That way we can do the holiday that day. And then probably Friday, I can try to figure out second channel I don't know. The holidays always throw a wrench in the plan, okay? So for this week, I decided, I started to go over the top. I'm like, we're gonna fix all the sheet metal. We're gonna color match the paint. We're gonna cut down the trim. We're gonna get all the trim on. We're gonna try to line up the doors. Our hood's buckled. We need to do it. We need to get some new taillights in it. We need to fix all the little outside rust that we're seeing here or there. And then I was like, hey, dummy, you just said you had 3 days. And then I mentioned I'd like to buff it too and get all the caps on. I'm trying to basically give the outside the full putter through the whole ringer dinger in these 3 days. And I just don't know that'll all be possible. So what I think we should do is just start with the sheet metal repair. Because we got a little rust right there, little rust in the rocker. Maybe a little on the bottom of the cab. Back of the bedsides are not looking the happiest. There's a little dent there. Whoever drove this did not discriminate, so over here they put a bigger one. All right, had a one up that side. And then rust, we're actually good. I think there's a little spot on the cab. This rocker I'm actually leaving. No through rust, no cancer. Just a little bit there to make up for the rocker being good, you know. Just now noticing that. We're gonna pretend like we didn't see it, because I don't want to fix that. There's a little bit there. And again, we are not making this a show quality. We're not hoping to win any awards with it. What we're hoping to do is accomplish our goal of taking a beat up old long bed, which this thing used to be, found a $200 bed that had a color match side. I can't keep up with where my brain's at right now. We cut it down. We slammed it down. We're rebuilding it mechanically where it's just a solid driver, guys. And it don't have to be perfect, but I think real easily, if we improve all these obvious big rust holes, all the obvious spots, we're gonna improve the look of this truck quite a bit with keeping it fairly simple. And simple's the goal here. A truck you think looks cool, a truck you can be proud of, but a truck you get off work, you're nasty, you're dirty, you still hop in it and drive. You don't care, it's not a show truck. It's a cool truck, but if you want to take it to a junkyard and load it down full of parts, you do it. And you don't worry about, ooh, am I gonna scratch it up or anything like that. It's a truck that you drive, by golly. So we've been doing this cheap, and I was thinking we may have to go, to junkyards and try to cut out patch panels we need or whatever. But after looking online, I was able to get rocker, both the bed pieces, both the rear fender pieces shipped, all for like 120 bucks, guys. That ain't even worth traveling to the salvage yard. You spend half that on gasoline, not to mention time and all that anyhow. Now, as y'all know, probably, maybe, sorta, all aftermarket panels usually don't fit the greatest. Meh. They usually take a little tweaking to get them happy. The best aftermarket panel I've ever seen, didn't even matter. It was the floor pans of our wagon we built. Those things literally plopped into place and just worked. Like I said, though, that didn't really matter because it's underneath the car. Your feet are underneath it. You put carpet in it. If there's one panel that you should have to beat to work in it, whatever, you'd want it to be your floor pans, not the outside body parts. I've never done any patch paneling, any rust repair on a square body. I think I got those from Classic Parts Performance. Could be lying to you. I got an idea here. Let's ask the box. Classic Industries, parts and accessories. By golly, they're America's first choice in restoration and performance parts and accessories. And. So I'm thinking I want to, like I said, I don't want this to be some elaborate craziness. I think we're going to try to patch most of this with it on the truck. Most of our patching's back there and right there. We're not too worried about the rocker. The lift would be on the way on it. I'd say let's just get it in the air and let's start back there and we'll just start working our way forward. Sounds like a solid plan to me. Probably important to note that the bed is just set on here. It's not actually bolted down yet. Oh, in fact, the bed ain't even actually full bolted together yet. Slight detail I forgot. She got a bolt or two holding on each bedside. It'll be fine. Oh, maybe we ought to take the spacers out the back. She's trying to do a front flip off the lift. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add 1, 6. Take another way, 7, 8, and I think 9. Half y'all thought I couldn't do math. All right, we'll get that trim out the way because we're gonna be playing with this little lip right in here. And now I noticed that there's some inner structure in here as well that is also rusted out. We ain't too worried about that though. And I'm like being sarcastic, but I'm not really being sarcastic because I'm really not too worried about that. If we fix every little thing we can find on this truck, that's still not gonna paint our frame. It's still not gonna fix all the surface rust. It's still not gonna fix like that little crack right there that we're not gonna worry about because it's a patina build. We fix that, it's still not gonna change the fact that it's a budget-friendly cut-down short bed. We are trying to make the outside pretty. We are, in a sense, half-assing it, but knowing because that's what the budget allows on this truck. Got a clip stuck in there. Jeez Louise. I had the double claw grip system. No wonder why I couldn't get it out of there. I think what we want to do probably is just cut out the amount we want to replace and then trim our new panel to fit it. So we should end up with a piece of trim right here. So right here on this line is where we're actually going to cut. Probably about like so. And that way, as we smooth that out, if it's a little not perfect or we got to do some relief cuts to make panels fit or whatever, we can hide some of that behind the trim, hopefully. As far as this, I just want to come like an inch past that, kind of down in that area. Flexible ruler will help you mark you a pretty straight line there. We're not going to overcomplicate this. We're just going to grab the slice and dice and go to town on this rig. Couple cuts and this rust is going to be out of there. Take your strings on your hoodie if you're going to be playing with a death wheel. Stop! I just remembered something. We have no filler neck on this gas tank and we have 2 openings right there just asking for some sparks to go in. And yes, this has gas in it. So I'm going to quadruple layer my welding sleeves over that and just stuff as many layers as I can on top of it. And then, all right, I think we'll be good now. Breaking news, this just in. Puddin of puddins.fab.shop blew Pot County off the map today with his legendary slice and dice. Kind of looking at our panel back there, this goes out past our little inside support. This is right on it. We're gonna go right through and cut that panel out. A little redneck repair here. As you just seen, I did not have to cut very far before we hit rust, and it actually freed that up. Yeah, that's one way to cut her out of there. Now what are we gonna do about all this? Maybe we'll just lop all that off there because it's all pretty pitted, and then we'll just build back a little inside support somehow. See? Simply no rust. Just take it out of there. Don't worry about that piece. Do you want your truck rust free or not? So next, we're gonna take our panel here. And as you can see, she's a little big. Need to match that up the best we can. I think this edge is broke too hard. I think we need to relax it some. So I got my relaxing pliers right here. They match my gloves. I'm gonna bend our edge here a little forward. Just relax, okay? Just relax a little bit. Let your spirit relax. Let your mind go to ease and enter a realm of relaxedness. All right. I think she's getting a little relaxed. To trace this panel out, I'm gonna rely on that right there, matching up good. We're gonna pinch it there, and then down in here, when that inside edge is happy, we're gonna pinch it there. The relaxation pliers make a good relaxation hammer as well. That matches up pretty good. We got our clamp there, and that's matching up really good. So I think we're just gonna trace that sucker out on the back side, and that's what we're gonna cut out and hope for the best. If you got you a nice black panel, just be sure to use a nice black marker. And we'll see it. Here we go. There she is. Now we are gonna cut on this side of our marks. At this point, we'd rather cut it and it be a little too big, then have to fine tune it, than to cut it too small and be filling gaps, which we're probably still gonna have to do anyhow, but we'll try to prevent what we can. Part number TA1005 if you're needing one of these rigs. And careful, if you install this thing in California, you may get cancer. Maybe we'll try to use this perfectly good metal table here to cut on instead of blowing sparks straight at my crotch area of my denim breeches. Please be good to us, please be good to us, please be good to us. Hey, I think we're gonna be able to work that into place. What do y'all think? I'm looking at her body lines here, and it looks to me like it needs to go that way just a hair to get that lined up. Also, if we try to shove that in there, and it ain't much, guys, it looks like, what do we need here? Actually, if we hold that along that, there's a gap up there. So if we come down and take a little more from there down, the whole panel should shift over. See how if that's pushed up pretty tight, we got a gap right up there. So if we go there down and take off just a little bit, then the whole thing should slide over just a little. Where that edge is folded from cutting that, I'm just running that Sharpie or marker down along that to give us a nice little fine tips worth, and that's gonna let me judge how much to actually grind off there. For that, we'll get out our old friend Flap Attack. We did not take off much, guys, just a little smoochy kiss. Still ain't got that where I want it. I'm gonna take off a hair more. Couple more fine tunes and this is fitting up a lot better. I don't know if y'all can tell, but this body line right there, that's the one I was focusing on. It's definitely lining up a lot happier. Now luckily I was real smart and cut that right by that hole, so as we go to weld that, it's guaranteed to blow out. Oh, really concentrated on lining that up, but now that I think about it, I forgot we have a piece of trim that hides all this, which is good because we're gonna have to kind of work this around. But I'd rather out here match, because that's gonna carry out this way, and I think it's gonna help all this match. Where this all been a little funky, if we would have matched off there and then thrown all this off, this will definitely hide out underneath all the trim. As I welded that kind of shrunk up and it's overlapping that, but the rest of that is still matching up really, really good. So right now, I'm gonna get us a tack or two in here and we'll work our way down. We'll worry about that and that later. Well, that makes me happy. That trim matches that perfectly, and that's good. That if we were too far out, it would be obvious. If it was too far in, it wouldn't follow it. And it follows it quite nice. Almost like we knew what we were doing. Almost. If y'all can see, but I'm actually grabbing that panel and kind of twisting on it. That's because I can see them kind of dipping down like that towards the bottom here, and I'm trying to get them to flatten out. If we really wanted to fit that panel up good from the start, we would have caught that. And what that means is we got too much material in here. Y'all see how that panel down here needs to roll in more? Well, as we grab on that and try to roll it in more, we can't because of this lip. So we could have took that to our shrinker stretcher and we could have shrunk that material and sucked it in more. Or if you're doing it speed round version like we are, and you don't have a shrinker stretcher like most of y'all probably don't, you can take your cutoff wheel down in here where you're having problems, just put you a couple little relief cuts. That'll relieve that, where then you can actually manipulate on it. And hey yo, now look who wants to match up, huh? There we go. Needed one more cut a little higher up in here. And as far as matching our panel, people use Clecos. You can use a little strip of metal with a couple Clecos. You can use them panel clamps. I don't like them, they create big old gaps. On something this quick and easy, I take my screwdriver and I just push it up there where you know both panels are flat, and I tack it. As you go down through there, if you can run the edge of that back and forth and not really catch either side, well, you know you're pretty flat. So I'd say we're doing pretty good. Down here towards the bottom, we're overhanging just a hair. So as we go to bend that, that's actually overhanging that. We're just gonna run our cutoff wheel through that. Now we can roll that. I don't prefer to do that because now you see the big old gap we create once again. But it is at the bottom, and I'm also trying to give you a couple options for how to do stuff here. So most people is gonna start with your basic fabrication. You're gonna have a welder, you're gonna have a grinder. So as much as I can show you how to do with a simple MIG and a cutoff wheel, it's probably gonna help more people. Most people also have a set of locking pliers. And just gripping that there and giving us one tack, two tack, then moving it down there, one tack, two tack. Look how well that flows, guys. And our aftermarket panel was longer, as you can see there, so we'll have to do a little trimming on that. So far, we got pretty good fit up going on, except for right there. Little tricky, huh? If all you had was a cutoff wheel, just cut it right there, guys. Do what you gotta do. Even if it makes you slice back further this way, we'll just weld back further that way and grind it out. And actually, I just cut a very thin layer off the top of that panel that was facing this way, and didn't really even get into the backside much. That is gonna require some love taps though. Let me get my love tap device. For this one, we're gonna use this. It's got that little kind of flat one that protrudes out. We're trying to hit just right there to knock that, back that away. But our factory bedside has a little more curve in it than this does. So once we get this lining up back here, we're gonna tack it, and then this, we're actually gonna hit it that away and try to curve it some. Or I may just hit it that away right now. Oh yeah, that's what it's needing. Back's pretty good. Shoot, the whole thing's pretty good. Woo, baby, when you're good, you're good. Yeah, we're gonna take that right there. Little heat gonna bring that old paint back to life or what? Went ahead and welded that across there. Now on this, we tack about every ½ inch or so, and then we go through there and we'll weld in between tacks, hopping around and letting this cool off because we don't want to start warping this like crazy. So as that cools off some, we can figure out what it's going to take to match this up a little more, which pretty much just looks like some taps on this. As y'all can see, this edge is not broken near as hard as the factory stuff is. That kind of comes out to a point and turns. That's just a big old rounded thing. And we are rubbing a little right there, so that's not gonna allow me to hammer that over. So I'll bend that back that away. We're gonna get our cut off in there. And I get to try to match that up better now. I told y'all how fun sheet metal work is. Hey, that worked. I'm gonna hold them pliers out there where we need it sharper. I'm gonna try to flatten this out some. Oh yeah. I'm liking that. Pull that lip where that kind of matches. Now we're gonna tack it out to that corner and then we'll smack that back. So I welded her up. I didn't figure y'all want to watch all that. Got the relief cuts down in there too. She is full welded. Now for smoothing out, I do what a lot of people don't like to do, which is use a flap attack on a grinder. It's very easy to get carried away, start gouging your metal, all kinds of stuff. I do not recommend you do this with one of these. That's a worn out flapper disc. Yeah, there's still some life in there, but that right there is really hard to judge what you're doing. You can put your fresh new unit on there, and if you're careful, you can use just the edge like that, and you can start to take down just the weld. We want to try to avoid getting into the sheet metal with this. Slow and steady wins the race with this thing right here. It's slow and steady, but it's still faster than taking all that off with a roll lock usually. And we're doing all right, but I can't get to that weld without that big old flapper getting to that. So I think that means that middle sucked in some, or it's sunk in, which is all right. I mean, we're gonna go to town at it with the roll lock here and really see how good or how bad we did. It may come out of there and just flow good. 80 grit, 2-inch roll lock. Now that right there we call sheet metal camouflage. If you see a panel and someone goes over the whole thing and they scuff it all up with this, well, that because it's for YouTube, it makes it look a lot better than what the sheet metal really is. Say versus if you run a DA over this. Oh, YouTube camouflage right there. Shoo-wee! YouTube camouflage. You seen it here first, folks. I did trim down our roll lock where I had a smaller pad for concentrating on our weld area, and I was able to grind out all the weld. Now y'all would probably think, man, that looks amazing. What are you talking about? That's not good sheet metal work. But it's not that it's bad, it's just hiding stuff. Let's take our DA and see if she wants to play. I ain't gonna lie, I'm quite surprised. We actually did better than I thought we did, because that turned out pretty dang good, guys. Now right there, you can see where the weld seam was, and that's what I'm saying. That DA will show you that that's a little low right there. It could use a little skim coat to fill in that low spot. That actually flows really good. And right there, you can see where I had to tap on that with that hammer, and it kind of marked up the metal. The DA don't lie. But overall, yeah, really happy with that patch panel, especially being with MIG. In most spots like that, if it was a real sheet metal guy, because I'm not a sheet metal guy, a real sheet metal guy would have TIG welded that. And then you can hammer that, and you can planish that weld, and you can flatten it back out. TIG's a lot more softer than a MIG weld is. MIG weld gets hard, so it's a lot easier to work. And a real sheet metal guy would hammer all that out and DA it till there was no marks, and this was all perfectly good. But for what we're doing, this is perfectly good. Let's mock our trim up. Made sure that right there is lined up. That's our factory hole. You can see that screw should go right where it used to be. Then we squeeze this tight to our panel down here. We're doing that for a reason, because we're going to come to this side that's factory, and we're going to look and go, okay, about 1.5 inches from that edge, it really started to taper down. Then it went out about 1.25 inches past the edge, and it did taper down. And then as we come look over here, we know to go about 1.5 inches, and that panel ought to pretty well be flush, except for right there. Then it's gonna just kind of stick up some, and we're gonna go out past, just slowly taper down. So we're gonna grind off all that extra and match it to that side, basically. Did you see that custom light I installed on that bad boy? Next up, we're gonna taper that where it flows a little better. Hey, that's easy enough. Now patch-wise, I think we're looking pretty good. But Puddin', aren't you worried about the back? Not really. This other stuff that's been rusting its whole life is more than likely gonna rust out before any of this ever rusts out. A little primer on that and he'll be, be matching the rest of the truck. Pretty good quality, kinda. So the patch is good, but what about all of our support in here we no longer have? Well, there's supposed to be a bolt right in there, so let's get some bolts in this and we'll try to figure something out. Now with that tight down, this splash shield thing is supposed to go right there. That crap we cut out would have bolted up to that. So as long as we get this bolted in, we can build some type of support that goes over and attaches to this. And it ain't gonna be nothing too fancy. You'll just kind of keep that from being able to flex, is what we're trying to accomplish here. I reckon that's also a little splash guard. Now for our bracket, you want some Elite template material. We're gonna set that there. And we are gonna basically trace this shape because we know that's gonna kind of match our shape in there. It ain't perfect, but it's kind of close. I did that one thing again where I actually mark it on the wrong side and now we can't really see what we're doing. And that's pretty good. Go on the back and find our hole. And I'm gonna mark where we want to end. And up here, I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it. Y'all better take that caw-cawing somewhere else before I come out there and fill that whole place with uppercut. Birds better hush it. Thanksgiving's coming up. We'll replace turkey with whatever's cawing over there. Boy, keep thinking I'm playing. Let's go get them. They're way up there in the top of the tree. I need a BB gun. Yeah, I'm coming. Whoo, that looks like it'll scare off a bird. Yeah, wait till I get this old hoodie pocket loaded up here. Oh yeah, that'll drop them. Yeah, I say it to my face. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. And don't come back. Sorry you guys had to see that. Birds making noises, just chilling out there. For some reason drives me bat poop crazy. All right, I hate hearing it. Go caw somewhere else. I gotta come out of the shop again. I'm gonna bring more than a rock next time. Flamethrower. One little minor adjustment. That's gonna work, guys. It's gonna work. I got a feeling, a little gut feeling. And I'm actually just gonna cut this out of our patch panel here because we're gonna have a lot of wasted material. Well. Apparently the old camera died as I was cutting that out of there. But I got her roughed out here. I'm gonna bend our tab just a little where this goes whoo-hoo forward. Just a little bit in there. I like that, guys. Clean her up, bolt that baby on. Let's find the sweet spot and tack it up. few welds down in there. She ain't gonna flop around no more. Well, she won't once we actually tighten down that bolt. See where we welded out here. I'm not saying ours is better than factory, but it's not laid over, doubled up on sheet metal where it's gonna rust out again. So we're gonna take that as a repair right there. And get her taped off here. There was some of our good primer. This stuff lays on pretty thick. And look, now you can see some of the metal work and how it's not perfect. Our primer will reveal it to you. Oh yeah, old Bill showed up.
It looks good.
We may leave that. We may swipe her with some mud. I don't know. Primer the inside nice and thick. And for now, we're gonna move on to the next because I'm just concentrating on sheet metal repair. So that ain't body work or paint yet. Now, first, I thought this side was gonna be easier, but the more I look at it, it'd almost be easier just to lop off that thing and make a new tab. We got a smaller area, and as y'all can see, this little backer supporter deluxe ain't rusted out. So we probably need to check this lip right here, find our spot welds. Probably one right there, right in there. And then we're gonna have to cut those spot welds and then try to cut through this outside sheet metal without going through the inside one. And we gotta get it off there and keep it clean enough where we can overlap that on our new panel to know where to trim out the new panel, because we can't mark this from the back side if we keep our backer panel in there. We'll figure it out. First thing we gotta try to do is find our spot welds in here. Maybe spot weld, maybe a rust hole. I don't know we got any except maybe that right there. Not a real big area. I guess we could start to get that, but I don't know. I just don't mind a little bit, I guess. What the heck? You want to get crazy? We'll come up here. We'll take that bubble out too, okay? Overachiever, that's me. Is that not what you think when you think about my sheet metal repair? Overachiever?
You do it pretty good, actually.
Everyone thinks I joke like I really like sheet metal, and I freaking despise it. I do not like it. I am not a sheet metal guy. Can't imagine why that rust out. Hey, look, it was rusty. It was just barely hanging on. Well, I got a plan, guys. The only reason I was gonna do it like that was to salvage this inside piece that is obviously not no good to us. Kind of like I said on that side, all it really does is as you drive this, gives a place for that dirt to go for future problems. We may just do this side like we did that side over there. We may pull this clip, bump up, just slice off the whole panel straight down like that, and just knock it out all the same. That way was pretty easy on that side. No need in trying to salvage all this. Cut her out a little more. Only one thing different on this side. We did not go as far back as we did on that side. So with this was what's left of our piece. How am I flip-flopped around in like so? You can see that hole right there. You can see a hole right there. That's because where that was sitting, there's one spot weld. So after we sliced it across the top, drill that out, and that whole little panel comes out. We actually could patch this up and put it back in, or we could boot it out of here and do it our way. Guys, I'm gonna just same process on this side, knock her out. Hey there, pretty mama. Old DA's lying to y'all, watch. See that, that primer reveals. Can y'all see the non-perfectness in there now? This side went nice and smooth, guys. No surprises. Use the same template right here. Everything fit up just like it was supposed to be. Shout out to old Slick. Bill had left, and then Bill and Slick went and got some food, and they brought me a sandwich that I scarfed down. Appreciate it, boys. Gotta keep that belly full. Here we go. That baby is patched up as well. Ran out of welding wire on this side. I don't know if I'd mentioned that. That little baby spool finally ran out. Up next, guys, I think we're gonna hop up here to the fender and see what kind of fiasco we're gonna get into. Now, at one point I considered pulling off the fenders, and I don't know if we should or we shouldn't. I'm not sure, prefer not to, because I'm assuming you just gotta take this whole front end off. Maybe you gotta pull the bumper, probably this, and however all that bolts up to the fender wells. Or we can just try to repair it with it right there. I think we're gonna be doing very similar here. Looks like we're gonna need to pull our trim and then just figure out where we're gonna cut, I reckon. Y'all know me, I'm just firing from the hip, baby, here at Wing It and Ding It Body Repair Shop. Hey-o. Boy, we just found all the rust, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Shoo-wee. Careful sliding your finger across that. Good thing that trim covers up all that, or we'd have a lot of rust repair on our hands here. That's actually why I lowered this truck so much, guys. That way no one can see all that right there, right? You just slam her down and no one can ever see that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that little brace right there. That don't really matter. Hey, we can tell where we were rubbing from it sitting low, can't we? It's like all them bolt heads are a little shiny, and it does look like we were getting the sheet metal as well. All right, what is it gonna take to get this off here? I'm assuming it's gonna be similar to that side. We're gonna have to pick where we wanna cut up this way, but then along this front lip, there's a spot weld right there I can already see. We're gonna have to knock out some spot welds along with down here on the bottom lip. Luckily, all that right there looks pretty solid, so we're not trying to actually wrap that edge or nothing. We're just trying to patch this up a little better than that. We're just gonna do our decent angle across there. Here at the back, and just drop her straight down. I think that's a spot weld right there. It's hard to tell what's rust and what's a spot weld, you know what I mean? I think that's a spot weld. I don't know. Be better time to have better eyeballs on you. Still can't see them. Usually a little wire wheeling or whatever and you can identify. Ah, I see, says the blind man. If you look in here, that lip that it is welded to does not hang down all the way. Only about a third of the way. I'm still having trouble identifying where the spot welds are. It's all right, I got a plan. Plan is to grab that slice and dice and cut it off there. After we drill these ones, right there you can easily see a spot weld. And there's one right here. It's only two I see. Wing it and ding it. There's leaves and grass and stuff in there. I can smell it trying to catch on fire. Oh yeah, we had one more. Obviously I got it because that's freed up now. Whoo, baby. I had a good old collection going on in here, huh? So here's my plan. I think I'm actually gonna just cut that down there up at an angle where we can get this off. Then we can figure out how to disconnect them two. Alright, we actually did that without making a, huge mess. Anyhow, got some dirt clods, couple nutshells, a piece of plastic, a leaf or 12, and who knows what else. And maybe that lip didn't even really spot weld to that. Looks like there was one right there. Maybe y'all can see. Either way, we got our whole fender piece off we were after. Next up, a little wire wheel of death. Clean enough for me and my wife. Now, the other week, that one can would only spray if I held it upside down, and some of y'all thought I broke the straw off on the inside by doing this, and y'all were wrong. I tricked you. If you would have read the can closely, it said limited edition upside down can. Here's a rare can of primer. They didn't make a lot of them. I just had one of the few they produced. Here's what's funny about YouTube and the internet. I can get in here and patch up this fender exactly how we're doing it right now. But if I don't wire wheel that mess and spray primer on it, I'm not doing it right. Even though we're gonna leave all this other stuff wrong with this truck. But as soon as I do this right here, well, by golly, we're building this truck to the max now. She's being done up how she deserves, how she should be treated. Rare old classic bird like this. Because that now is gonna stop this whole fender from rusting away. That'll probably never catch up to this, you know, like that's not a concern at all, as long as we primer this over here while we're in here. And I'll layer on thick if y'all want. How thick you want it, 1/4 inch. She dripping. As we let that dry, let's let another patch panel prepare to die. Just gonna simply lay this over this, try to line it up to the best of my ability. Let me mark her out. But I'm gonna fat tip the rear since this was overhanging the front. I don't want to cut it too short there, so I put me a fatter, thicker mark back there. Like I said on that one, we'd rather cut it off and have too much and trim to fit than cut it too tight and or too small. Then we got a Gaposaurus Rex. Then we're in bad shape. Then we want to quit. Then we're throwing stuff. It ain't no good for nobody. Ain't good for the truck. Ain't good for my blood pressure. Ain't good for any ass that may be near that could use a whipping. At least we're gonna get a little bit more of our money's worth out of this patch panel. We got part number on this one, LG part number T70109, 73 to 91 pickup fender rear lower panel right hand. All right, let's see, what could it be? Look, we can slip that behind there. Oh, son. I mean, all that's matching dang good. We just need to trim down the back to actually match. I scribed it with the little flathead there. Now we got a line to follow. Darn genius, I tell you. I mean, we're getting pretty close right there. Our panel has more of a curve to it than our fender does. Our lip is bigger than the aftermarket one is. There's gonna be some matching up to make happen, but we are matching up close enough now to make it happen. Gonna drill us a few holes here for spot welds, and I think I'm actually gonna drill 1, 2, 3, 4 on this lip here. Drilled us a few extra holes just because. Went ahead and ground that down. We're still probably gonna have to fine tune. Oh, we better clean up that side. A few pairs of the locking pliers kind of get us into place. Not sure what we're gonna do back here. We may end up having to cut that right on the line and kind of let that taper some, little relief cut action. Other than that, we're matching pretty good. Gap up there's a little bigger than I was hoping for, but I ain't met a gap that I couldn't weld yet. Right there, I was doing the push the screwdriver to make it flat trick. Seemed to be working good. But up here, this panel's gonna have to come out some, or this panel's gonna have to go in. Letting that off up here actually helped. We're rubbing a little right in there. Little gappage is gonna help us. Yep, now she can move. And she's got some wiggle. Well, I plumb blew that out. I was pushing and welding next to it, and I guess I softened it all and bloop, plopped a hole. All them matched up beautifully, so I went ahead and welded up all them spot welds. If we match up our bottom, that is probably about 3/16 of an inch away from our brakes actually matching. So I'm gonna go in right here on that bend. I'm gonna cut probably over to in here in relief that. And what that's gonna allow us to do is try to take that, shove it up towards that 90, and then match this up with our bottom. It's gonna create a pretty wide gap across there. Let's see if we can get that lined up pretty close. It'd line up good if that wasn't rubbing. A little extra clearance would never hurt. Yeah, now we can get that matching. Got her tacked and got her tacked. You can see how that's gonna flow a lot better. And now that line, yeah, it's gonna be a little tricky to grind, but we are matching up on the bottom now. Our brake appears to taper that away towards the factory one. And all of that is more than weldable, because all this is already welded, so that better weld. And oh yeah, don't forget our few spot welds in here as well. Guys, I'm gonna go around and tack, 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 and weld her all up. There she is. New pad. Fancy. And fancy was my name. Well, she slicked up and she ain't perfect. Guys, I can feel stuff that you can't see. All right, so I know it looks pretty good in the camera, but she ain't perfect. And we got a really low spot over here. That dips in a lot right there where we welded up and down. I guess both of them are kind of tweaked in here, but we'll take that over that. Rust be gone. It's prime time. Oh, a little too thick, she's running. It's all right, them old runs will sand out. We may just leave them, that just give her a little more extra character. Should've looked our truck over better. I knew we had a little spot there, but I can see where it's trying to break through right there. And as you can see, that's crumbling all the way up to there. So really, we should've got a piece to patch this with. I'm gonna try to slice that out and see what we get into. Hey-o, found another little bundle of twigs and leaves and mud and other goodies. Don't worry, I caught about a third of it. Took what's left of our patch panel from the fender, and towards the bottom of this, it gets a lot more curve to it. So I'm trying to find where that matches up good, which is about right in there. Trying to kind of manipulate it so it matches that as close as possible. Gonna mark that out, and we're gonna cut that out. We're gonna hope that's gonna match up good enough. tuned on her a little bit, and yeah, I think we'll be able to make that work pretty good. Got just about the right curve to it. There we go. Had to cut our weld at the bottom. We're gonna end up with a bigger gap down here, and I found more rust right in here we're gonna have to address. Came on the back side in our pristine fender well here, drilled us 2 holes. That way we can shove our fender out, or our patch out, I mean. Hot! Hot! Woo! That sucker went right down my back. Almost gave me a heart attack. Cut another chunk out of our fender. I kind of tweaked on this piece because it's got a curve, but it's also kind of going up. And that matches pretty good right there. We're gonna Frankenstein this poor fender together. Johnny Cash, baby, 1 piece at a time. I'll be honest, I hate that is kind of patched up the way it is, but let me weld her up and grind her out, and we'll see what she ends up looking like. Gonna name this truck Patches. RUFF. This is rough, and this is rough because this metal's very thin, and it's also very porous. It's just rusted so much on the back side. So right there, you can see I was chasing rust, and then after just flappering that, with the roll-lock, I mean, pinholes start popping up. You can guarantee if we kiss them with the welder, it's gonna blow it out and we're gonna be chasing it again. Now it does look better. I ain't saying it's right. I'm not overly worried about it. At the end of the day, we know the condition of this truck and what this truck is, at least to me, which is not a full restore SEMA build. It is a driver, like we said multiple times. So am I proud of all that? Not exactly. Is it a little better than the rust that was there? Maybe. Are we gonna keep it on this truck? Probably. We could order patches and patch the whole bottom, but I think I'm feeling frisky. I think we can live with it, okay? A little body filler on that one will help it look a lot better, but for now we're just gonna prime it. Not so proud moment right there. All right, now this up here, I'm really not gonna fix that right there. I wasn't being sarcastic. To do that, we would need, I don't know, another spare fender to cut that lip all out of. We're gonna try to straighten up this dent because there's a dent right there, pretty deep. That's bulged out right up there. And even our trim is whooped on. You can see how it's holding the shape of whatever hit it at, you know, whatever point in this truck's poor life. Looks like something round hit it pretty hard right there. That shoved that over and somehow popped some material up there. I'm hoping we can just hammer on the back side and maybe get through that fender well, or extra lip in there, I mean. We could probably drill holes and be able to tap something through there. I might just beat on it and hopefully we don't lose too much rust. There's too much of a gap in between there. We ain't doing nothing. Swap to the big Christmas tree. Try to smooth up our little punch there. Shoved her out a bit, not a whole lot. Yeah, it may look a hair better, or it may not. It may look like we're polishing a turd a little bit. That's probably what it's looking like. Now, I don't know how, but it is 5 o'clock already. Holy cow. A little rust patching. Sorry guys, I just got a good look down the side of this door, and I doubt it'll pick up for you, but there's a ding, there's a ding, there's a ding, there's a ding. That whole door skin down that bottom side is just plumb dinged up and beat up. I'm gonna get back out here in the morning, and I'll probably just start by patching that driver's side, just like we did this side. And it's gonna be the same thing, so I'll probably knock that out in the morning. And I reckon that's gonna leave us looking at this rocker on this side. Oh, fun. Why does classical music and working on cars go together? I don't know. I don't make the rules around here, okay? Actually, I kind of do. I make my own rules and I beat to my own drum. But it does. I love some good classical music, especially to some metal work. Now over here, it's a good thing we got the YouTube camouflage, because that weld seam's the worst one I've done yet. There's no smoke and mirrors around here, folks. Just patch panels with the low spot, about a 1/16 worth. She gonna need a little body filler, all right? Now, of course, whoop, let me drop that. See, that's hard to see from over here though. Why? We got our YouTube camouflage. Now, that YouTube camouflage, it don't discriminate. It works on Instagram, probably Facebook as well, I'm assuming. And yeah, you can just hide all your problems like that. Inside here, y'all seen we had to build a little tab, kind of like we did on the rear side, or on the rear bed side, whatever you want to call it, because this inside panel was plumb rusted out. So we have that supporting all that. We had to cut off half that lip. And underneath here, what was left of that little lip hanging down, well, I just put a few welds on it. It was fun to weld to. It was nice and rusty. But overall, well, we got sheet metal on it again, I guess, overall. That looks better than that. That is rusty garbage. Weld a new panel over rusty garbage. In a month or two, or a year or two, or a decade or two, it'll be back. All right, I'm not a singer. I do apologize. Yeah, guys, you got to leave that rust in there, okay? That way it'll rust out again. We're just planting seeds for the future, okay? We got to have future content, so I just figure we'd plant some seeds now. Guaranteed decade or two, we'll be able to do this job again. And then by then, maybe this whole fender piece will be missing, rusted out, and we can tackle it then too. Now, there's one thing about rust repair. It's messy. There's my pile I just swept up. I didn't even do the best sweep job. I just got what was close. Now, speaking of messy, during my repair on this side, my can of primer that was on the left, it fell and it hit a tool down there as I was doing something, and it exploded. Yes, you are saying that correctly. That thing just fell. I think probably hit the corner of that square hammer just perfect. And then, yeah, just gassed us out in here. Yeah, that's right. All right. Just, it was fumed up in here. We had to air it out. Just now, as I went to pick that up, clean it up, even though it had quit spraying a long time ago, apparently if you shake it, it's got a little of whatever makes it spray left in there, it'll start spraying again. All right. Now, a little bit got on my glasses, but I got it cleaned off. I don't think any got on my face. Thank goodness for these big old glasses. But yeah, I had to run outside with it and put her in the dumpster out there. She ain't looking much better aesthetically right now because we took trim off and there's primer spots, which ain't the most attractive thing I've ever seen. But we are making progress. And to finish up our rust repair up in here, we got a rocker, but we got to get it off the lift because that lift's right in the way. Yeah! Come on! Bring it back now, y'all! Ah! Got that rocker where we can get to it, but I'm about to go get to some lunch because I did not have breakfast and my tumbly's a little grumbly. We don't need no stinking lift. We're gonna just jack this thing up sideways till it rolls over. The arm burn in action. Hey, we got her pretty sideways. Now, some of y'all are curious, how are we gonna do this rocker? I've seen the rockers before, Puddin', and I see they go all the way up into the cab and all that. They go all the way up behind the fender. Did you know that? Or do they? Yeah, they must. Yep. Well, one, this did not even come with the inside rocker. So that is soft back there. I mean, it's there, it ain't all rusted out. But if it's soft, that ain't gonna do us no good. And most of this is actually just kind of down in here, so we're just gonna try to cut out no more than we have to. As in, I'm gonna cut it right at the edge and right at that seam. We're gonna open up this door and we're gonna look, and we probably shouldn't. Hey, it ain't actually rusted out. I was gonna say, because it's probably gonna have a big old rust hole that we need to fix. Looks like she's starting to get a little rusty over there by the door sill. To do all that, we'd be pulling apart all of that. And well, we're just not gonna do all that. We're gonna start slicing and dicing and just cut out what we gotta cut out. How often did they pinch weld this thing, huh? Every 3/4 of an inch? Well, that makes sense. See how our panel stops right in here? I was looking and I was like, man, I can't find no spot welds down on there, but they pick up right in Well, we know right in here's our cutoff. Right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. All the way down to in here. Got one right there, I can feel it. I reckon that's gonna run all the way up here. Yeah, I went big on that. Can't believe they spot welded this thing ever so often. Be here spot drilling to the damn 5th Sunday. Just 1,200 more to go. Holy cheese, Swiss cheese, holes everywhere. Oh geez. I've guessed on all these, by the way. I don't know that those are actually spot welds. Guys, if there's any build that you look at the vehicle and you go, man, Puddin can actually build something, don't let this be it, okay? I understand there's people on YouTube who do builds only like this. Some will just lay stuff over and weld and slick it with some putty and whatever. There's levels to different builds. Don't let this one be what you look up to me for. Please, there's a Datsun sitting over there that we did 100 times the amount of work on to make right. You just can't make them all right. Well, you can, but it sure costs a lot of money. See, I have this problem. I have this problem of wanting to let everything snowball. That's why I just gotta look forward, move forward, stay going. Like when we're doing the frame stuff. Could have very easily went, hey, we're gonna spend another 2 days and strip this thing down to bare frame, and we might as well just have it blasted and painted since we're here. We're building half new brake lines anyhow. What's it gonna take us to just put some new cab mounts on there, put it back together, run a new brake line, new fuel line, wham bam. We gotta have this thing plumb torn apart and whatever. But I cannot do that to every single build. What's funny is, most of y'all's like, hey, no, yeah, I get it. You know, you just can't go all out on everything, you know, and you don't want to make them all so nice that you can't drive them. That, guys, is me telling myself, okay, I gotta give myself pep talks, boy. I need to pep talk myself on how to install this cutoff wheel one-handed is what I need to pep talk. Hey-oh, we got it. I'm pep talking myself, all right? To just leave crap alone and not change my plan, all right? That was all to me. I just needed to say it out loud. Let's see here, then we can start to work it off. There's a nice wasp nest we've been storing in there. Hey, another wasp nest followed by another wasp nest. Oh yeah. Crunching that, yeah, we must got pretty close to all them spot welds because just whoop, whoop, whoop. Look, all them ones broke free. And that one too. All right, well, ain't gonna lie. That came off there a lot easier than I thought. And I noticed that a lot of them welds were just on the bottom there, which is kind of ugly, but that's the backside, so it don't much matter. Well, be nice to have some of my red primer spray on there. Shut your mouth before I come up there and do it for you. Tired of you always interrupting me. Just playing, guys. Yeah, people keep asking when we're gonna hook up the new compressor after the lean-to's out there where it's got a place to be under. All right, what do we got? Oh, ho, ho, ho. I know we had some of the good stuff in the back. I don't know I want to waste the good stuff on this though. What about the old Krylon Paint Plus Primer? It says it prevents rust. Use indoor and outdoor applications. Good for C10 inner rocker panels. Huh, that's what the can says. I guess we'll use it. It also says it dries in 10 minutes or less, which we like. Looking like an ice cream bar. This is gonna be a little harder to trace than our other panels because this aftermarket one's actually shaped a little bit different than this one. So what I'm gonna do is just cut her right here at the very front. And I know I didn't leave much of a lip down through that thing at all. So I'm just gonna cut the whole thing off here, basically right at this joint. And then we're gonna figure out how to skin it on there. Be a good time to have a longer arm. Don't worry about the rest of that rocker. That's actually gonna give that some integrity and strength in if we'd properly replace it. Just get the skin that's gonna help make it pretty. That's all that really truly matters. I don't know why, but all that's matching up really good from what I can tell so far. Like, I wouldn't be scared to tack that in. I think we can work it into place from that first rough cut. Not bad for a little guessing. So in fact, let's get it ready to tack in. So we're gonna clean up our edges. Got that edge all cleaned up. I installed the "you can't see my bad metalwork" finish on this. I mean, hot damn. For spending very little time on fit up, aka I knocked that one top corner down because I accidentally cut it crooked, that is not a bad fit up. Yeah, the gap gets a little bigger there and there, whatever, but overall it's pretty tight. Now that I'm not a super huge fan of, and that's because this is not broke as sharp as the factory stuff was, kind of like our fenders were. So we're gonna try to figure out what it takes to match up that a little better, I reckon. Then again, we could just grind that whole little lip and taper it a little bit and make it flow. Who knows? I'm gonna go down through here and make sure these edges are lined up and matching, and we're gonna tack her a little more before we work the bottom side. To do that, I'm just gonna use my custom painted screwdriver. Right, the rattle can got it earlier. Tack that when it needs pulled out just a hair. So we go down through here and we tack, and that metal shrinks as it cools. It'll actually pull this panel as a whole up a little bit, and when it does that, your gaps will close up tight. So this one tack I did down here originally, tacked it down there and one down here to help hold it. So we're rubbing so tight right next to it. I'm actually gonna cut that tack now. I'm gonna pry that out just a hair, re-tack it, match them beautifully. If we push that up tight, and kind of being relaxed almost looks better, except that ain't like lined up per se. But we gotta shove way up in there till we hit our material. So why don't we hammer our material towards us? So as we shove that right there, we're actually lining up better, and that keeps it from rolling up as far, which actually matches the bottoms slightly better. Now if we go right there, the problem is that's sticking way over out of line like that. So what do we want to do here? I'm okay with that right there where it's at. That sheet metal is actually lining up really good to that. I think we're going to roll with that up here at the front. Tack that and lock that in. Now we could relief cut that and drop that down where it kind of blends, but I think we would see that. We could relief cut that again where we already relief cut it once, and we could tap that up, which would work as long as we stay down in this area. Like I put that welding helmet on like that's gonna protect my ears. Aha! Well, there's that one. Let's figure out our rear. I'm gonna start by matching all this sheet metal down through here. Beautiful tight fit right there. Kind of pulling down on that. Apparently we got a little rust right there in our cab corner. The relief cut, knock that out the way. Or pull it down out the way, I mean. Need this corner just to come out a hair. There it goes. All right, now that little lip's lining up. We'll take that towards the bottom. And I know you're thinking, does that really matter? To me it does. Because when that comes up and there's an 1/8 inch hanging like on that side, it stands out. Whenever we get that all kind of matched up and flowing, down the highway I'm going in this rig at a $120 and I blow your doors clean off, the chances of you seeing that is slim to none. Or even if you're just standing still like right here, guys. That fender stood out really bad, but looking over there now, like once that gets finished, you will not tell. And here at the back, it's gonna be a little more obvious, but not enough to stand out like a sore thumb or anything. Hey, that looks pretty good. Not to mention it's at the bottom of a very lowered truck, so you don't have to lay on your belly to see it, but that taper does not stick out as bad as I thought it was going to. Go down through there and weld that sucker up. Let's have a look on the back side. Just went every so often and put some welds down there like so. All them other holes, they can stay as drain holes. Maybe that stuff will drain out of there. Or maybe all them holes will let extra dirt and water get in there, thus rusting out the new panel faster. Who knows? That's gonna be up to time and Mother Nature to tell, not us. So she is welded on, and I am not mad at that. For the quick, simple repair that we're doing here, now all I gotta do is grind my little heart out some more. Oh, little crunchy paper towel, everyone's favorite. Shoo, baby. She looks good to me. Got a good straight bottom of our door there. Look how beautiful that is. Yeah, that's real nice. The bottom of the door goes down, up, down, and then here in the last about 5 inches, it starts to curve back up. And we're not working on the door. We replaced old Swiss cheeseville with that, and I'm really happy with that. It actually looks pretty good. I ground out their seam sealer. The seam sealed down to about right there where you see it stop. And then the rest of the seam seal was actually over on the cab. It was just glopped on here and down, and it was painted. And it come from the factory like that. So what I'm showing you here is some good factory details. I'm also showing you no matter how nice we make this thing, unless we're gonna correct all these gaps and all the other rust, guys, we just gotta get her good enough. And I think that is GUD, good enough. That thing probably ain't even gonna need no body work and it'll look fine. And we discovered we had a little bit of rot in this little bottom corner. So we're gonna take it out pretty much the same way as we took that out and put my little marks. I think we got a spot weld right there and one right there that I can feel. Maybe one right there. Ha ha! Little mouse house used to be in there. Alright, with this, exact same song and dance as our rocker. First, you want to clean it up. Put a light coat of ivory. And as our second coat dries, we're actually going to take our old rocker that we cut out, because this last little bit, she's pretty solid. I don't know this is going to work, but what we're going to try to do is see if we can't cut the shape out, and then we're going to see if we can't manipulate it to be our new cab corner. Put a little manipulation in the situation. Hey Ma, Puddin's reusing that old rusty metal again. So as we look there, that end rolls, and this piece does not roll. And because that's broke, you just can't exactly roll that. So we're gonna have to do a little relief cut, more than likely, right in there on the seam, or on that break, I mean, right there. Took some of our curve out of that. Let's see if I can round that a little bit. Just hammered that edge where it can whoop, curve. And that is looking rough, but I think if we line up our bottom and tack that into place, we can start to work it in. Actually, to work it in, I'm gonna overlay that, line it up where I'm happy, and I'm gonna mark out our cab. We're gonna trim that out where this should fit easier. Shoo-wee! All that matched up really good. A little bit I rolled the edge. Appears to be perfect. I mean, all that was lining up good. Now we did end up with a bigger gap there than I wanted. I meant to cut that a little bit, but not as big as I just cut it. Created a big old gap for no reason. But y'all know me, that'll all weld up, no problemo. Oh yeah, a couple more tacks and I like that. Hey Puddin', that don't match up very good. Well, just you wait. Hold your horses. Oh, baby. Now what, huh? Yeah, don't forget we're gonna have to weld that on the back side. The recycled rocker? I love it when a plan comes together. A grinder and primer make your welds look finer. Guys, that looks good enough with that primer on there that we could blend that paint. Like, I'm saying that don't even need body worked. That would work right there. I'm really happy with how that turned out, especially our cab repair, especially our rocker repair, and our fender repair, and our rear fender repair. Not so much the front fender repair. We ain't gonna go that far and add that one to the list. Show is looking ugly though with that trim missing and the primer spots on it now. Flipped her around. We are on our last spot of rust repair. Check this cab corner, same thing. She's a little rusted out. I'm not gonna make y'all watch that again. Looking at this thing though, look at that big old gap right there. It's all factory stuff because we didn't even move that fender lip. Kind of interesting. Yeah, over here with primer in the sun, you can see how bad I did on that one. Let's just get the camera off there before y'all think I'm some unprofessional sheet metal guy. Oh wait, that's exactly what I am. Voila! Right, here's why they call me old hot wired Harold. Woo-wee! Here she comes looking a little more rust-free. Right bed on there. I know you're thinking I'm crazy because all I did was just drive it out the shop off that little drop off, but having that weight back there sure makes a difference. Boom, cut it off. Let's pull her outside and have a look at her handiwork. Hell, 15 foot, she looks all right from here. She's a 15 footer anyhow. A lot of that, like our rockers and down low, it's going to be extremely hard to see. The further you get away, the more you can see it. But of course, like I said, with that sitting so low, you get right up on that sucker, and what rocker are you even talking about? I don't know. It ain't there. Man, seeing that thing outside the shop just looks good. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the primer spots on this thing because I'm such a big fan of the color on this thing. I cannot wait to get that paint color matched, everything buffed, blended to the best of our abilities, all the trim back on it. It is going to make this truck just look bitchin'. Now that fender and that cab and that, yeah, it's all looking pretty good, guys. That door shuts like crap, and that wind's blowing hard, so I'm going to get in here so we don't butcher our audio. But I think when we align on them doors, hopefully we can get the door shutting a little better. We're going to try to get all the trim lines back up. The bed needs to come off. We'll go up in the air with it where we'll get all the bolts in. That's going to help pull in the bed sides and everything on it. And then what else we got? Everything else I just mentioned, we're probably going to try to pull that dent, and we are going to body work a couple of them patches to do all that. I'm going to need the help of old Slick Fitty. He's my body working buddy. So 1 week I need to get him together, and we need to do that, all the buffing, color matching. And there's a little more mechanicing. You hear the belt squealing. We need to put some belts on it. The carburetor may be leaking now. Old gaskets in it. Finally, shit in the bed. And I don't know. Whatever else I decide we need to do underneath the hood. We do have one brake leak that I know of. You can see some drip drops right there. That's going to be from the rear driver's side wheel cylinder area. I don't think it's the wheel cylinder. I think it's the hard line we made last time, and we need to re-bleed the brakes. We may put a new vacuum booster on it. That one's pretty rusty and crusty, just so it's got an all new brake system. That anyhow, a little bit left to do. Oh yeah, we got to figure out what we're going to do to spruce up the interior here. And oh yeah, we need to find a back bumper to put on that mother thumper. And oh yeah, we could probably put the tailgate back on. And oh yeah, we could probably polish out the trim whenever we buff it. And oh yeah, I bought some better taillights for it. Guys, all the appearance of it, I wanted to knock out in 1 week, including all the sheet metal repair. But being the holiday, I know if I try to push through and get all that done, it's going to have me working in the holiday or when family's here and everything else. And I'm going to be in trouble if I do that. So we're going to end the video here with a little, just a little conclusion on the sheet metal repair. We're getting closer and closer on this thing, just slowly chipping away. Oh yeah, when we do the rest of the makeover, we're going to get some caps on it. We'll see if the front end, surely that'll buff out a little bit too, all of it. We're going to get her looking good. Now, I hope y'all, I would say, learn something. You may have learned what could help you. You may have learned, hey, what not to do. We don't want to do what that guy just did, for crying out loud. I think all the stuff we did, once again, for a driving project, guys, perfectly fine. Let's say you actually daily drive you a C10 or something, and you've got some patched rust. Well, do you want to make it a show truck? Probably not. Not if you actually drive it. Do you want to get rid of big old patched up or rusty holes on your fenders? Probably so, maybe. And if you do, quick, easy way to do it. Now you can drive it. Those that make it, I don't know, not such an eyesore. That's what it makes it. And I'm happy with the way it all turned out, minus the one fender patch on the driver's side. I wish I would have done better there. I thought I was doing good, but sometimes you ain't doing as good as you thought you were. puddins.fab.shop for all that good quality merchandise. We are trying desperately to get stuff out to y'all as quick as we can, as far as for Christmas time frame, but we make no guarantees on that. We can get stuff out, but as you get closer to holidays, guys, the post office gets behind and everyone else, because guess what? Everyone's shipping stuff. So it takes longer to get stuff to people, and we just make no promises. Besides, we'll do the best we can. We appreciate all the support there. I appreciate y'all coming back. I appreciate y'all coming back, watching my shenanigans, watching the progress around here week to week. Y'all keep me hungry and motivated. I can't thank you guys enough. Be sure to like, subscribe, put it on, I don't know, Christmas around the corner. Y'all have a puddins.fab.shop marathon or something. I don't know. I'm just firing from the hip here. I'm on the Patreon. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on the Facebooker. And I am actually going to leave my mess tonight. I'm going to use it to be the first thing I do in the morning and get my blood flowing when I get out here and it's cold. I'll probably try to figure out some second channel content tomorrow. That's it, guys. I will see you guys next time. Do not forget, sitting on your ass won't finish your project. If you got a little rust repair you've been needing to do, by golly, just do it. Good set of vice grips, good cut-off wheel, and a flap attack, and a welder. And for the most part, you need a hammer. For the most part, you can do a lot with a little if you'll just get after it.